What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review. This time I'm reviewing the film Dune. Alright, now I'm gonna be first to tell you, I've never delved into the world, the universe that is Dune. I know it's got fans, it's got legions of fans based on a best-selling set of books. It was a movie in the 80s that I ignored. All I remember about Dune is that Sting was in it. Sting was in it, no shirt on, his hair was blonde. I never saw the movie. Kyle MacLachlan was in it. I've never seen it. Then they made a series. I never seen that. It was just like Dune, sandworm. That's all I can give you, a big sandworm. So when Dune was coming back out from the director of Blade Runner 2049 and the Arrival, I don't know how to say his name correctly, so I'm gonna just let y'all do the research. First of all, the visuals he created with The Arrival and Blade Runner, top notch. Like, those movies looked incredible. This new Dune film looks incredible. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If you're into this sort of thing, go watch it on IMAX and just be taken to another world. That's what I appreciated about it. Now, I thought the subject matter was gonna be a little bit too heavy and brainy for your boy. Not that I'm dumb, but it was just like, do I really want to invest all this thinking and keeping up with a world I don't really care about? So then when I went in, I actually cared. I was like, all right. So I'm going to try to break it down and give it a quick review for the first half of the video, and then I'll go into a quick spoiler-filled joint right at the end, okay? So bear with me here. In the distant future, probably about, 20,000 years into the future, humanity has evolved into something else. They ended up ditching like all artificial intelligence. Like, it was a violent war based on getting rid of the self-reliance of humans on artificial intelligence. That goes for space travel, anything involving any of that. There was a big war to get rid of all of it. And so now they had to adapt to this environment. And so if you want to do some space travel, you can't really do speed of light travel without the computers of some sort to know where you're going and to know where you're not bumping into stuff. So you had to come up with these organic things that could have this extra ability to see things to where they won't run into things while they're doing space travel. And you need the space travel for commerce because humanity has expanded to several different galaxies and planets. And so they have this thing called the Imperium, which is a vast network of all these humans on different planets that, they still need to travel in space. So there's this spice on this one planet to where the spice helps those organisms that they created to help them do the space travel with the speed of light. So basically what I'm trying to say is this spice is the equivalent to oil. All right. So that's the only place you can get it. They got to go to this hot, scorching planet to extract these spices in order for them to continue the space travel for commerce. So that's what they were doing. So these race of people called the Sardaukar were, extracting the spices from this planet. But there are also people that live on this planet who've adapted to the harsh conditions of the hot desert, the hot environment, the huge sandworms. And these sandworms are huge. So if they detect any rhythmic movement, they coming for you. And they big enough to take down a little compound, a complex. They're not like worms that could just get humans. But the people that live on this planet are called the Freemen, or the Fremen, I should say. And their eyes are blue because of the effects of the spices. So they have these blue eyes. And when I say blue eyes, I don't just mean the pupil. I mean the whole setup, the whole eyeball socket is blue. So these people, they uprise and they fight the people that are extracting these resources from the planet. So the Imperium was like, yo, man, just pull up out of there. Y'all just come on out, pull out, and then, we'll send somebody else in there to kind of work with the Fremen people, but y'all need to go. And the Sardaukar, they look like me on the bald head tip, only they're pale. And they come from an equally harsh environment, but their environment is rainy and wet as opposed to the dry, hot desert of this other planet. So they send in the Atreides people, which is what's my man, Oscar Isaac. He has a son and a wife, And so they're coming up, and they are like the all-star team. And we're like, yo, we want y'all to go down there and, you know, make our presence down there felt on that planet. And also, you know, if you can, harvest the spices. And so, you know, Oscar Isaac and them was like, I'll do what y'all, whatever y'all need me to do, I'm down to do because I'm loyal to the soil. Let's get it popping. His son, Paul, is like the gifted one. He has this ability thanks to his mom, who was part of the Bene Gesserits. Okay, now what they can do is they can pretty much, it's not like mental telepathy, but they can make you be like, yo, turn the camera off. Kind of like a Jedi mind trick. Now this predates Star Wars, so don't go thinking like, yo, they try to be like Star Wars. No, this is before Star Wars. So they have this ability to see things beyond, they can see in the past and the future. And within that, they can see a future that may or may not happen. So it's more than just like, all right, I saw this is gonna happen. No, they can see it and make changes to get a different outcome. And they can also see in the past. So Paul has this ability, and he also has the fighting skills to, because they want him to be the new leader of the Atreides eventually. You know, once his dad passes away, you need a new leader. So they grooming him. So they go down there, they take the job, and he keeps having visions of, you know, the Fremen people down there on the sand planet. Zendaya and them, he's seeing them, and he's like, yo, I'm getting these visions, you know what I'm saying? Oh, and, you know, him and his mom are real close because they both have this ability, this gift, if you will. He's real cool with Jason Momoa's character, who's like this, he's one of the soldiers for the Atreides, but he's like dope. He's kind of like the Han Solo of the crew, like, you know, a lot of personality, not stiff. Him and Paul are real close. Just seems like a fun, adventurous type. Thanos is in this, Josh Brolin, who's the war master of the whole crew. So he's training Paul on how to fight, how to conduct himself, how to get past the shields, because they got shields, so when they fight, when you strike, when you go to kill somebody, you have to get through the shield. The shield is best served to protect against projectiles. But if you come in with a slow blade, you can get through that shield eventually, but you got to come in right. So it's a whole nother world because they don't really have guns here. They don't really have guns, the fancy weapons. There's no AI, there's no fancy computers. And the computers they do have are these people that are pretty much human computers. They can sit there and calculate whatever you need answered. You know, they got battle strategy. How much did this cost them to get here? Oh, that cost about, and then they can tap into their brains and do all of that. So we got all this going on. They agree to take the mission. They go down there, they take the mission. They get set up by the Sardaukar. Like, yo, man, we gonna go down there, take them for everything they got, man. We supposed to be down there mining the spice. We gonna go down there and take it for ours. So you get this whole thing of a war being started because the Sardaukar want back on their planet so they can start mining the spices so they can get in on this money. Meanwhile, Paul is connecting with these Fremen people because of the visions that he's having. And he's going off the golden path, I want to say, that they wanted the human race to follow. So he's making these changes and seeing these visions, and they're testing his power all the way through. Like, yo, man, this kid right here has a real gift that he hasn't truly tapped into yet, but man, he gonna be something. But they ended up getting betrayed and all this sandworms down there. So we're introduced into a world that is vast and it's gonna take up multiple movies. Now, when the movie comes on, they tell you right out the gate, Dune Part One. Now, this is ambitious because they didn't get greenlit for Part Two yet. They were just like, yo, this is Part One. And when you watch it, it feels like just Part One. It feels like that. Like, imagine if they didn't greenlight Part Two. You know how pissed we'd be? We're just getting introduced to this, and then it ends in a way where it's just like, oh, we just gonna end it here? We're just getting started. That's what it felt like when it went off. So keep that in mind. If you want real closure and real finality, don't go see this movie. You're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be like, man, what's next? And we're gonna have to wait for the next chapter. because they had to green light the project. Now they still got to shoot it. So it's just like, you know what I mean? But I will say the special effects were amazing. The ensemble cast was dope. It really introduced me into a world that I'm interested in. And like when you find yourself confused and then you dig around and try to get some extra insight, it makes it even better. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of wish the action was a little bit better, but the storyline was good. The cast was dope. The visual effects, I can't stress that enough how good it looks. So if you see it on IMAX. I'm giving it, hold on, I gotta do the turnaround. Oh yeah. I'm giving Dune 3.5 saxophones out of 5. Yeah, man. Man, imagine you can go to a place and it turns your whole eyeballs blue. That'd be kind of cool. But kind of weird at the same time, because you know, man, is this healthy? Because if your whole eyeball structure changes color, that shit ain't gonna be good when you go to the doctor's office. All right, now rapid fire recap. Now, y'all remember what I just told y'all in the initial, right? You know what I'm saying? The starter car, the bald-headed guys from the rainy planet, you can call it Seattle. They was like, yo, man, we want in on that. Dave Bautista was one of the bald heads. And the dude Stellan Skarsgård, you know what I'm saying? He one of the bald heads. He be all sloppy in his little suit. He be like, man, we wanted to still be there. But the Imperium was like, come out of there, pull out. And, you know, don't worry about them. Because they were getting attacked by the Freemen on that planet. And so it was like, just pull out. And so they send in Oscar Isaac and his family. And Oscar's like, yeah, we gonna do it. But like, should we be doing it? Hey, man, I follow orders. So they go down there. They get set up regardless because they had this one doctor with the diamond tattoo on his head. It looks like Mr. Sinister. Shout out to Marvel, you know what I'm saying? The diamond. He went against his doctor code he's supposed to never go against. He's supposed to always be upright and true. He sold them out, shut down the power defenses. So when the starter car came down there, caught them all slipping, they sleep. So they get caught slipping. Now the mom of Paul, she sends in one of the high-ranking Bene Gesserit ladies that's all about this mental life. They got the veil and everything to test Paul's ability. And she goes in there, put your hand in the thing, and you're going to experience pain, but if you pull your hand out, I'm going to kill you with this needle. So the pressure's on. He got his hand in the box, pain. But while he's experiencing this pain, his visions are coming through even more intense and even more clear. And so he was able to withstand the pain while the needle was to his neck. And he's getting these visions. And he's just like, yo, I get these visions. Sometimes they come true. Sometimes they don't. So now she's discovering that this kid right here, on his untapped potential, he's something special. So now he's getting these visuals of him becoming the guy, the Messiah, if you will. So now within him, he's just like, yo, if I'm gonna be seeing all this death, all of this is attached to me becoming the chosen one. I don't really know if I want this. He's not sure if he wants all of this. And his dad, what's dope about his dad, Oscar Isaac, is that even if you don't want all of this, you're still my son. I was like, man, that's what's up, man. Pops ain't putting the pressurous foot on his neck. I like that, man. I was like, this is a good dad right here. So when the betrayal comes, before the betrayal even comes, Jason Momoa's character, his name is Duncan Idaho, by the way, which is a very like American name. Duncan Idaho. Like the name doesn't really fit within the aesthetics that they created, but I appreciate it because he's a loose character that feels familiar to me. He went kind of undercover with the Freeman people, which are the desert people. He went undercover there to really learn their ways, learn how they rolled. He found out what was sacred to them was water, and they developed these special suits that when you sweat, it can recycle your sweat and become drinking water and also keep you cool at the same time, so they can be on the surface of this planet and not, overheat. And so also they developed a method of walking to where they kind of mimic the flow of just a natural wind, so the worms can't detect the rhythmic movement of walking. And these worms are huge. Like there was one scene where they were mining, and one of the cargo carrying things broke off on one end, so they couldn't carry the mine vehicle out, and they had like people within that machine. So Paul and his dad go on a rescue mission to get, save the people that are working those mines. He goes in there, he touches down on the sand, and so this is when he's exposed to those spices that heighten his senses. So while everybody's trying to get the hell out of there because the worm is coming, he's sitting there reflecting, visions, Zendaya, slow motion, visions. I was annoyed by the constant visions. I was like, all right, man, we get it. Zendaya, slow motion, turning around, looking at you in slow motion. Everything's all dreamy and sprinkly and like, yeah, man. And he's getting visions of this black dude giving him tips on how to survive the harsh desert. Yeah, man, you got to do this. You got to ride. And I'm like, man, who is this guy? So now we're getting the visions as well. Like, man, what's going on? We get it. Zendaya, blue eyes. And so I'm getting frustrated. But knowing, like in hindsight, and when I do extra research, I'm like, okay, these visions means that he's learning how to navigate his abilities, and it's not necessarily visions of what's to come. It could happen like he saw it, but it can also be changed. Because he kept having visions of the black dude, one of the Freeman dudes. His name was, let me cue his name up right here, Jameis. In his visions, Jameis was teaching him the ways of the Freeman people. He was like, yeah, you need to do this, you need to do that. But in the reality, when he actually meets these people, he wants to fight Paul. Because he challenged Paul's mother, who had hands for Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem is also in this movie. He's one of the Freeman people, and he's no nonsense and all that. But she was able to hang with Javier Bardem on the fighting tip, so Jameis challenged her to a fight. But Paul's like, nah, I will fight in her stead. So it was like, oh. So now, when he fought Jameis, he ends up killing Jameis in the challenge battle, even though in his vision, Jameis got the best of Paul. So that proves that these visions can be changed, and he kind of got the leg up. I wouldn't play Uno against Paul. I wouldn't play Uno, poker, because I had visions that you had a full house. So, I did this and that. He'd be a terror in casino. Because he could see what could happen, and he could change the outcome. Crazy. So when they got assaulted and double crossed, and whenever somebody double crosses people, they end up getting their just desserts. The doctor that double crossed the whole family that allowed I always forget their name. Sardaukar. Now, the doctor that allowed the defenses to be brought down so the Sardaukar could come in there and infiltrate the Atreides, he ended up doing it for his wife, because they had his wife, the old trope. They had my wife and kids, so I had to betray the whole squad just for my raggedy wife. Just with my raggedy wife and kids, man. I got the diamond on my forehead. I look like Mr. Sinister because I am Sinister, because I betrayed y'all. So they came in there and they get the drop on everybody. So everybody's getting killed. The only people that don't get killed are Jason Momoa's character. He ends up fighting and escaping in one of the pods. They paralyze Oscar Isaac because they got these little mosquito-looking things that could paralyze you. They're little assassin tools that can get through the shield, because he had that shield on, but since it did the slow move, it was able to get through the shield and paralyze him. Paul and his mom end up escaping, and then that's how they end up on the desert planet with the sandworms and the Freeman are. But they didn't know the outcome of everybody else. So the doctor that did betray Oscar Isaac and them, he was like, yo, I betrayed you. I'm sorry. He was just telling him this while he paralyzed. Look, I betrayed you. I'm a bitch ass dude. I know what I did. My wife, her life was on the line. She raggedy. She don't really equal to all these lives are just ruined. But here, anyway, take this little tooth poison pill. So if they confront you, you can bite down on it and release the poison. And then that's my little give back for me busting up this whole shit because I'm a bitch ass dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a good doctor. I just thought about myself and my family rather than the whole, I apologize. Anyway, bite on that. So he left him with that. He ends up telling the bald heads, like, yo, I did this for you. You said you was going to set my wife free. And he was like, yo, I set your wife free and you going to join her. I promise you that. And by set free, he means he killed your wife and now he going to kill you. And there you go. That's what you get, though. So anyway, they got Oscar Isaac in the room and they like, yo, man, all up in his face, talking that shit, like, yeah, we got y'all. What you finna do now? Your whole kingdom's done. We caught y'all slipping. You a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Where's your son at? Where's your wife at? We want to holler at them. What's up? Oscar Isaac was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You did your thing. He bites down on the poison. It spreads through, catches them slipping. They got to shut the door, but a lot of them have gotten poisoned. Most of his crew that was in the room got killed. But the main bald head dude ended up surviving miraculously. I guess he floated up to the top because he has this mechanism on the back of his head that allows him to levitate. So he ends up living, but barely though. He had to sit in this big ass crock pot of goo so he can re-heal and shit like that. So you got that whole dynamic going on. Paul ends up on the desert planet. He reconnects with Jason Momoa's character. They're still hunted though by the I always forget their name. The Sarkadar. That whole crew was looking for them. So Jason Momoa's character ends up going out super hard. He went out hard on the initial attack, and then when they came to confront him again, he was the last man standing, and he went out hard again, man. Shout out to him. So anyway, they live in life on the run. So now they meet up with the Fremen people, and now he actually meets the people that he's seeing in these visions, cut to the fight he had with Jameis, but he also meets Zendaya's character, like, oh, this is her for real. So since he beat Jameis in the challenge, now his visions of him leading this people are starting to make sense now because he won the challenge. So they're going to hold him to a higher regard. And so Zendaya's looking at him like, yeah, you did your thing. And Zendaya gave him the weapon to use. I'm like, man, how you gonna sell your people out like this for this new kid? I don't like that, man. You gotta be down with the team, man. Anyway, so he ends up winning that fight, and then he has this vision of him riding one of the sandworms. And once he has this vision, he's like, yo, this is crazy, man. This is really happening. And Zendaya's like, yo, desert power, man. We just getting started. And then it goes off. And I'm just like, yo, that's a part one for real. That's pretty much the recap of it. It's a lot of information to take in and regurgitate. So I did the best I could, but there's still more details within that. The Bene Gesserit women, these are women that have that gift. It's mostly women that have that gift of the visions and stuff like that. But they kind of process it to make Paul a male, even though you're supposed to be giving birth to women. And his mom is pregnant with another baby, fresh in there. And he was like, yo, mom, I know you pregnant. She's like, I never told anyone. I'm like, come on, man. I'm Paul, man. I see shit. You should know that. You see shit too. And so it's a lot to chew on. But it's a dope world in my opinion. And I feel like I would like to see part two. I would like to see where this leads and where we go from here. And some of these characters may even come back. Shoot, Thanos, his character, they show him running into battle, but they didn't show his demise. So he could come back. Oh, you never know. Let me know what you thought of Dune in the comment section below. Did you like it? Is this your first experience with Dune? Did you see the one from the 80s? And if you did, how does that compare to the new one? Let me know. Did you read the books? Let me know how you felt like. Did they stay true to the books? Or you like, nah, I ain't feeling it. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you saw it, which world would you rather live on? The wet, rainy one all the time where you gotta be bald-headed like your boy? Or the desert joint where you gotta walk around in a suit, you can't really be out at certain times of the day, and you gotta deal with these big-ass sandworms? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here. So, sorry, I fumbled. A nerd came in here that actually read the books and told me I got the names wrong. I was like, wait, so the Sardaukar and the Harkonnen. Okay, the Harkonnen cats are the bald heads. Those are the bald heads. The Harkonnens, the Harkonnen, whatever you want to call them, those are the bald head guys. The Sardaukar are the elite fighters that come in little nice little white suits and they be floating down and they come down with the leg pose and those are the elite fighters. The Sardaukar really worked for the Imperium, so the Imperium was in on the setup of the Atreides crew. So that I fumbled. I was saying the Sardaukar. I thought the Sardaukar were the bald heads. The bald heads are the Harkonnen cats. So my apologies. I fumbled. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm new to this Dune universe, man. I'm trying to go off the top. I'm writing my little stupid notes. I didn't read the books, but I'm just trying to convey it to the regular moviegoer. If you're a Dune hothead, I apologize for the fumbling, but I'm just a regular moviegoer. I wasn't about that Dune life, so please forgive me. The bald heads, the Sardaukar, different cats. I apologize, man. Bear with me.